Faith in the Unseen by Minh Quang. Even when the night hides the stars, the sky never forgets how to shine. C. Minh Quang 1. The invisible thread. There are seasons in every soul when silence becomes the loudest sound, when prayers echo back unanswered, when dreams fade into mist, and every direction feels like a dead end. You ask yourself, what's the point? You've given your all, yet nothing moves. You've waited, yet nothing changes. It's in that sacred in-between that faith is born. Not when everything is clear, but when everything is hidden. Faith is not sight, it's inner sight. It's the invisible thread connecting your present uncertainty to your future revelation. The seed must disappear into the ground before it becomes a tree. The star must burn before it shines. And your soul must walk through darkness before it learns to see. The unseen is not empty. It's alive, waiting for your belief to awaken it. 2. The long night. There once was a painter who lost his sight. For years, colors were his language. Then one day, total darkness. At first, he cursed the void. He sat for weeks drowning in silence. But one evening, he touched a brush again. His hands trembled, but they remembered. He painted without eyes, guided by touch, by breath, by faith. Months later, when light finally revealed his work, people wept. It wasn't just beautiful, it was alive. When asked how he did it, he smiled and said, "Because I saw it here," placing his hand over his heart. Faith is that the ability to see without sight, to build without proof, to love without guarantee. It's the art of painting in the dark, trusting that light will find your strokes. When asked how he did it, he smiled and said, "Because I saw it here," placing his hand over his heart. Faith is that the ability to see without sight, to build without proof, to love without guarantee. It's the art of painting in the dark, trusting that light will find your strokes. 3. The test of invisibility. Faith isn't forged in comfort. It's tested in the unseen. When you've done everything right, yet nothing happens. When doors remain shut, when silence replaces answers, that's when faith whispers, "Keep walking." The seed never sees the sun, yet it believes the warmth will come. The sailor cannot see the shore, yet he keeps steering. The unseen isn't a punishment, it's preparation. Because faith is not about getting what you want, it's about becoming who you need to be. When you trust what you can't see, life sees what you can't trust. 4. Lessons from the invisible. Abraham's journey. He left everything familiar behind, following a voice without a map. His obedience became history. Faith always begins with a step into the unknown. Edison's light. 10,000 failed experiments, yet he said, "I've found 10,000 ways that don't work." That's not arrogance, that's faith disguised as persistence. Mandela's freedom. 27 years in a cell. No sight of sunlight or hope, yet he believed in a South Africa that didn't yet exist. Mother Teresa's silence. For decades, she felt God's silence, yet she served. Her faith wasn't emotional, it was intentional. Every miracle began as madness to someone who couldn't see what the believer saw. 5. Walking alone. At some point, everyone walks a path that no one else understands. Your friends stop calling. Your family starts doubting. Even your own reflection asks, why keep going? Because faith doesn't need approval. It's a private covenant between your soul and the unseen. You don't walk by sight, you walk by trust. You don't measure progress by applause, you measure it by endurance. Faith is the quiet step taken when no one's watching. Yet, heaven applauds. Sometimes your journey is meant to be lonely, not as punishment, but as purification. The noise must fade so you can hear your own heart again. 6. Faith and failure. Failure isn't the opposite of faith. It's the testing ground of it. Every failure asks, do you still believe? And every time you rise, you answer, yes. Faith doesn't prevent the fall. It gives meaning to the climb. It turns wounds into wisdom and losses into lessons. The caterpillar thinks it's dying inside the cocoon, but faith knows wings are forming. The mountain doesn't shrink for the climber grows to meet it. Each failure is a conversation between who you were and who you're becoming. Faith is the translator, the silent work of faith. You may not see results, but don't confuse stillness with stagnation. Under the soil, roots grow. In silence, strength gathers. In hiddenness, purpose matures. When you pray and nothing happens, something is happening within you. When you act and see no change, the universe is rearranging things unseen. Every act of faith leaves fingerprints on destiny. The small acts, choosing kindness, forgiving again, trying one more time, all matter. Faith doesn't shout, it whispers, and its echo moves mountains. 8. Faith as love. Faith is the highest form of love. To have faith in someone is to love them even when they fail. To have faith in life is to love existence even when it breaks your heart. To have faith in yourself is to love the version of you that's still unfinished. When your heart breaks, faith holds the fragments together until love returns. When your trust is betrayed, faith is the gentle voice saying, "Try again." Love without faith collapses. Faith without love hardens. Together, they build eternity inside the human heart. The beauty of not knowing. We live in an age obsessed with certainty, forecasts, plans, guarantees. But life has never promised certainty. It promised mystery, and faith thrives in mystery. Because when you already know everything, you no longer grow. The greatest discoveries were born from not knowing. Einstein wondering about light, Galileo staring at stars, a mother believing her child will survive. Faith says, you don't have to know how, just keep moving. The road reveals itself to the traveler, not the skeptic. When faith feels small, some days, your faith will be mighty. Other days, it will be a whisper, a flicker, barely enough to keep you breathing. That's okay. Because faith doesn't need to be loud, it just needs to stay alive. A spark can light the forest. A mustard seed can move mountains. A single heartbeat saying, "I'll try again," can resurrect a dream. When you feel small, remember, even trembling hands can lift miracles. 11. The unseen hand. One day, you'll look back and understand. That door that never opened protected you. That delay that frustrated you, prepared you. That heartbreak that broke you, built you. The unseen hand of life was never cruel. It was careful. It knew where you needed to be before you did. Faith is trusting that hand even when it feels invisible. Because one day, you'll realize it was holding you all along. 12. The final crossing. Every transformation requires a crossing from the known to the unknown. And at the edge of that bridge, fear waits. Faith doesn't erase fear, it transforms it. You still tremble, but you move anyway. When the first astronaut stepped onto the moon, he didn't know if the ground would hold. When the first heart transplant happened, no one knew if life would remain. When you take that leap of trust, you join the lineage of those who dared to move before seeing. So stand on that edge. Breathe, step, the bridge will appear. 13, faith revealed. Someday, what you once prayed for will stand before you. Real, tangible, undeniable, and you'll smile. Not because you finally see it, but because you never stopped believing it. Faith turns the unseen into the unforgettable. It transforms ordinary hearts into vessels of miracles. So keep believing, keep walking. Even when the night hides the stars, keep your eyes open inside. Because everything you're seeking in the unseen is already walking towards you through the mist, closing stillness. Quote, faith is not about waiting for light to appear. It's about becoming the light that never leaves the dark.
Faith is not about waiting for light to appear. It's becoming the light that never leaves the dark.